It was a time he and I had a disagreement.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You know, I'm not here to lie.
I look back. I hear somebody say, first, tap on my shoulder, someone in my ear say, man, fuck them. We don't want them in the city anyway.
I remember back in the 90s with Suave House and Rap A Lot, per se, they said that there was some beef.
I look back and Jay Prince has sent 100 goons.
It's a little uneasy right now between Suave House and Rap A Lot. I know you laugh. Jay Prince, I've been around this shit for a while. Yeah. I've been in the mix for years, brother.
He's falling out over that one.
Yeah. And I remember that, you know, Suave House was based right there in Houston as well as Rap A Lot.
Right.
But then, shout out to Tony Draper.
Yeah, that's my man. That's my friend.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I love Draper. But at that time, next thing I know, Suave House and Tony Draper moved to Atlanta. Yeah. And you know what the word was from the label.
Everybody was saying Houston was too small for both of us.
Jay Prince, you ain't drive Suave House. Hey, man, you ain't drive them out of Houston, did you, dog?
The city of Houston has long been overlooked in the music industry, leaving local artists to fend for themselves, metaphorically speaking, get it out the mud. It was the lack of interest by the majors that birthed the trend of Houston artists going the independent route, where there would be no need for big labels and distribution deals. Their crusade for independence opened the door for the Houston rap scene to be put on the map, solidifying Houston as the hip-hop mecca and undoubtedly the capital of rap for Texas. However, before Houston's rise to prominence on the rap scene, there would be turmoil. These are the detailed events of what took place before, during, and after the war between Rap A Lot and Suave House Records. The legendary Suave House Records is one of the most revered names in Southern hip-hop. The label that was home to such heavyweights such as 8Ball and MJG, Tila, Earl, Mr. Mike, and Crime Boss was born from raw ambition, determination, and vision. At the age of 16, Tony Draper, aka T. Draper, built Suave House from the ground up, and in doing so, drafted a blueprint that others would soon to be powerhouses would follow. Labels such as Cash Money, Slip and Slide, and No Limit would rise like a phoenix from the flames that Suave House ignited. Born in Memphis, Tennessee, T. Draper would later relocate to Houston, Texas, where he would be raised. Draper, even at one point as a teen, worked alongside Big Mike at the Olive Garden. In fact, when Draper was only 17, it was he who made the connection between Big Mike and Rap A Lot CEO Jay Prince Sr. through his cousin that was already a part of Rap A Lot Records. As a youth, Draper was raised on R&B soul. In his adolescent years, Draper developed a love for hip-hop. Starting out as a DJ, Draper was a huge fan of both East and West Coast rappers. It wouldn't be long before Draper would start his own label. After recording a few demos that he couldn't get the big East Coast labels such as Sleeping Bag Records, Tough Break, and Profile to take seriously. Upon launching Suave House, Draper recruited Prince Johnny C., original member of the Houston-based group The Ghetto Boys, as his producer, copying Suave House material to local moms and pops record shops around the South. During this time, mom and pop outlets were better than having a street team. Why is that, you may ask? It's simple. When going into moms and pop stores, they will let every customer know what was new and what was hot. Unbeknownst to many, while merely 18, Draper developed a working relationship with Jay Prince Sr. of Rap A Lot Records. After being laced with the game from Jay Prince himself, T. Draper would begin to build a solid foundation on the Houston rap scene. While visiting his hometown of Memphis, Draper would discover two more raw talents after already having signed Thorough to his Suave House imprint. Those raw talents were 8Ball and MJG. Ball and G would go on to become the next big thing coming out of Memphis. Their pimp stories and gritty street lyrics will be a major brand builder for the Suave House label. The gangster wordplay and downtown flavor of their debut album set the stage for what would be coming out of Texas and Tennessee in the next few years to come. Coming Out Hard became an underground sensation through word of mouth and Lots of Grindy by Draper, who looped together a loose patchwork of one-stop distribution companies from Chicago to Dallas to help give the album national distribution, as if he was signed to a major. It was during this time that The Source magazine was the end-all, be-all of hip-hop. Always want to be up on game, Draper would buy full-page colored ads in The Source every month. This marketing approach ultimately worked, making Coming Out Hard an independent success, which would kickstart a hot run for Suave House Records. However, without Rap-A-Lot Records, there would be no Suave House. In 1986, J. Prince Sr. formed Rap-A-Lot Records as a way to keep his brother Sir Rap-A-Lot off the street, and at the same time grow the overlooked Houston rap scene that was filled with talent. Despite an immense amount of talent, the Third Coast was ignored by big-time music execs and exploited by East Coast DJs. Throughout its 30-year history, Rap-A-Lot became one of the most successful independent hip-hop labels in the game, beginning with the likes of the Ghetto Boys, the promotion of Pimp C, Bun B, Zero, Trey the Truth, Lil Keke, Slim Thug, and Lil Flip, along with a host of others that I did not mention. Getting to this level of success be no easy task for J. Prince Sr. and his Rap-A-Lot label. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that not many people wanted smoke with J. Prince Sr. Tony Draper, the man who had once gotten game from J. Prince and introduced the world to acts such as 8-Ball and MJG, South Circle, Crime Boss, and Tila, would soon be on the flip side of the coin. This label, Suave House, the once an up-and-coming hot label of the South, would take a steep spiral downward. According to Draper, this was the result of a transition from a deal with a horrible company called JCOR, and him being burned out from disloyal artists. However, the former artists of Suave House would tell a different story that was filled with lies, deception, manipulation, and outright robbery. Before there would be quote-unquote disloyalty from the artists at Suave House, as stated by T. Draper himself, a beef will be brewing between J. Prince and Draper, and not just any beef, a beef that will spill over to the streets. In fact, J. Prince Sr. can be noted coining the infamous phrase, "Houston ain't big enough. Somebody has to go, and that somebody ain't me." Throughout this ongoing beef, unbeknownst to many, Suave House was allegedly ripping off its artists. More than 20 years later, Mr. Mike took to several podcasts to expose the fact that he had never received not one single check from Suave House.
I never got paid from the label.
At all?
At all. It's like people that was on my songs that ain't even as big an artist as me that got something from the label. So I never got anything from the label, right? I even had to pay out my contract.
Tila, another former Suave House artist, jumped ship due to alleged unpaid royalties and a laundry list of other things. It was this bad business that would land Tila at Rap-A-Lot Records, where he would enlist the protection services of J. Prince Sr.
And to have to go to Rap-A-Lot, and then too how I got to Rap-A-Lot, it wasn't like something that I said, oh, I wanna go to Rap-A-Lot. That wasn't what it was. It was more so when I met Jay, for me, and once again, there's some open stuff, man. See, Jay presented the father figure I never had, right? So, and then he presented too, he understood spirituality. Cause I come out of Memphis, Bible Belt, whole thing. So, but he understood all that, right? So it provided for me a protection. It provided for me a comfort in that sense.
Everyone in the streets of Houston at the time knew what was going down between the two labels. One incident that took place on the Beltway in Houston will show just how shook Tila was of T. Draper. While driving, Tila was spotted by Draper, who asked him to pull over. Clearly not wanting any parts of Draper, Tila would refuse, telling Draper to meet him at Rap-A-Lot offices if he wanted to talk. Let us not forget the Jamaica incident, when 100 Rap-A-Lot goons showed up at the club ready to go to war, as 8-Ball was rumored to be in town to G-check a Rap-A-Lot artist about being dissed on wax.
How about I get up right then, I get a tap on my shoulder I look back. I hear somebody say, first, tap on my shoulder, someone in my ear say, man, fuck them. We don't want them in the city anyway. I look back and Jay Prince has sent 100 goons to watch Ghetto Mafia's backs because apparently everybody in the city between Suave House and Rap-A-Lot knew that 8 Ball was coming to the club, pistols blazing, to confront us about a record. So KB's like, you know, man, Prince J heard about it, man, and I love Prince J. Prince J saved my neck.
Mm-hmm.
I had never met this man before in my life. Anytime I see him, I follow him on Instagram, I'll be like, that's that guy.
This beef would escalate to the point where Jay Prince was allegedly putting the hard press on T. Draper, making it next to impossible for Suave House artists to perform in Houston and other parts of Texas. Several other incidents would allegedly transpire that involved guns, violence, and extortion. Meanwhile, the ship at Suave House had begun to sink. Ultimately, this beef will lead Suave House shutting down its Houston, Texas operation and relocating to another city and state.
I remember back in the 90s with Suave House and Rap-A-Lot, per se, they said that there was some beef. And I was in Houston, and, you know, I remember the label people telling me, you know, it's just it's a little uneasy right now between Suave House and Rap-A-Lot. I know you laugh. Jay Prince, I've been around this shit for a while. Yeah. I've been in the mix for years, brother.
He's falling out over that one.
Yeah. And I remember that, you know, Suave House was based right there in Houston as well as Rap-A-Lot.
Right.
But then, shout out to Tony Draper.
Yeah, that's my man. That's my friend.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I love Draper. But at that time, next thing I know, Suave House and Tony Draper moved to Atlanta. Yeah. And you know what the word was from the label.
Everybody was saying Houston was too small for both of us.
Jay Prince, you ain't drive Suave House.
I heard some rumors.
Hey, man, you ain't driving them out of Houston, did you, dog?
No. I wouldn't do that to Drake. That's my friend, you know what I mean?
But friend, foe, or not, was it, I mean, in those days, and like I said, I worked for the label, and I just remember the little, it was like a little slight warning that, hey, you out there in Houston with Ball and G, you just might want to keep your eyes extra open.
Actually, Drake created his movement in Memphis.
Yeah,
so
with Ball, G, and Thielen and from Memphis. But Suave House was located in, offices was located in the 713 right there off, I think it was Southwest Freeway. Right. Something like that, yeah.
Draper was a student of mine, you know what I mean? I gave Draper the game, and Draper created a movement over there.
Yeah.
Now, it was a time he and I had a disagreement.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You know, I'm not here to lie.